Hi, everybody. I'm back to my daily vlog where today I am talking about my dream video game console and what my dream video game would be. So, big shocker. I'm a gamer. Yeah, I'll give you a minute to pick your jaws up off the floor, but I'm a gamer. I've always been a gamer. I love gaming. My very first ever handheld was Game Boy Advance. I had the Game Boy Advance, the SP, I had the DS, the DS Lite, I had a GameCube, and I had a PS2. So I'm a gamer. Oh, I'm PC because I did a lot of PC gaming back in the day. Nothing massive, just mostly computer games, kid stuff. I did play Chex Quest 2 and 3, because come on, Chex Quest was fun as hell when I was in second grade. And I was the only one. Like, my mom could not get the BFG, I could get the BFG. I could get on that ledge every time, not missing a beat. Although, maybe I should live stream Chex Quest. I have the games because you don't have the CD for it. Maybe I should live stream it or play Chex Quest again. I would love to play Chex Quest again. I love that game. But anyway, what would my dream video game be? I've actually thought about this for a while because there was a few years ago I had some ideas for video games and I stupidly tried submitting one to Nintendo, and Nintendo was so very um wonderful in their fuck off letter when they said that we do not take unsolicited games from non people that program them. So like no designers, no creators, and unsolicited games. We don't take this shit. Which understandable. Especially after what happened with Kyoto Animation, like years later, it's highly understandable why you would not want to take unsolicited games. I would have put that down under your contact us. Please don't give us game ideas. But sure, big yellow blinking letters would have been good. Don't give us game ideas. We don't want them. Would have been good. But I basically tried to submit an idea, and and they basically didn't want to hear it. But I had a really good idea for basically an anime, um, a Dynasty Warriors game, but mixing Dynasty Warriors Battle Engine, or basically the game engine, which allows you to just traverse the landscape, battle it out, but with anime characters and sort of like a Super Robot Tyson sort of way. Because for those that don't know, or even like another Century Zero or another Century episodes, by the way, so pissed that game never got out of Japan. That game is fucking beautiful. I love every gameplay video I've ever seen of it. I love the intro trailers for it, the intros for it. That game should have gotten out of Japan. That game should have been released instantly out of Japan. Why it wasn't, I will never know. It should have been released. Anyway, I always wanted to make an anime style fighting game. A really cool one, too. Something that was decent and unique, but at the same time, badass. Think like that Jump All Stars game, or the, what was it, Victory Stars? Or B Jump, or I don't know, the one that got shut down not too long ago, like about a year and a half ago. That one, something like that, but with Dynasty Warriors Battle Engine. Basically the engine that allows you to play 90% of that game. That, but with different anime characters. I would have enjoyed something like that. You could have Gon, Killua from Hunter x Hunter, um, Yugimoto, Joey, Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! You could have All Might, Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, and things like that. I think that would have done really well. It would have been a massive hodgepodge of different anime characters and different, I want to say, let's just different anime characters. Let's just get it right. So it would have been a good game. I would have loved to have gotten a game like that. That would have been my dream game to make. each level progressively harder with a very powerful boss that you could have it be like multiple characters and things like that. I would have enjoyed a game like that, but of course, I'm not exactly a game programmer. Hell, I looked up on YouTube how to create a game, and even to make an FPS is skyrocketingly difficult. I mean, I have like thousands of different ideas for really cool things in my head, but I do not have the intelligence to bring them to light. I wish I could. I wish I could. I have a lot of like designs in my head that with Canva I can bring to life. I have a lot of cool ideas that I would love to bring to life, but of course I'm not that lucky. But I did have that was my game, the biggest game I would ever made, something like that. I mean, it has endless possibilities. Think of it like Smash, but with anime characters that actually works better. It's not hated. It's not complete garbage. It's wonderfully made. Um, then I also thought about years ago. I actually drew up a sketch because I thought about making a game console with everybody having like everybody and their grandma getting Raspberry Pis. There's companies out there that can make PCB boards or printable circuit boards or actually printed circuit boards. Um, I thought I could make a video game console. I could make a game console. That'd be really cool. And I stupidly started screwing with the design of like what I would want it to look like. I'd want it to be small and thin, yet extremely versatile. Basically, no thinner than a tablet, but at the same time, as powerful as a PS5. How do you keep that bitch from not overheating? Well, how do you keep a tablet from not overheating? This thing can play AAA games depending on what type of a tablet you have. It can play AAA games. How do you keep it from overheating? That's my point. But it was definitely an idea that I thought up, and I screwed around with the idea for how I would do it. What would I want it to be? And I spent days just doodling this little tiny notebook about it. I finally came up with my, I guess you want to say, rudimentary design for it. And it was basically real simple, real dull, it's dull as dirt. It was simplistic, stupid, 100% idiotic. And I thought about it. And then it finally dawned on me this would be a really cool idea. So instead of creating your own console, why not get a console that already exists? Just get the shell and improve upon it. Give it all the specs that it never had. And there are two game console shells that I love, but I only ever owned one. The Nintendo GameCube and the first PlayStation. Not the curvy one, but the solid squarish one. I loved that design. The look of it just would have sold me instantly. Yes, the games on the PS1 were kind of mundane. There were a lot of diamonds in the rough. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII and the Final Fantasy franchise that existed on it for sure. You had Parappa the Rapper. Come on, who doesn't remember Parappa the Rapper? I remember Parappa the Rapper. But there were a lot of good games for the original PlayStation. Now, granted, I was a PS2 girl. Very first game I ever owned for the PS2, Guitar Hero. Well, Guitar Hero 3. So, I think I still have my guitar for that too. Uh, that'd be pretty cool if I could if I could find that yet and I could get a copy of that game. I would love to play Guitar Hero again. Everybody should remember how everyone looked years ago at that. We all looked like idiots, but we had fun. We might have looked like idiots, but we were fun idiots. We were Finnegan. Or no, Finiot or Funyuts, I guess. Funyuts. No, Funny. I like Finiuts better. Finiuts works. We are Finiuts. We are fun idiots. Finiuts. I like that. Anyway, um, I actually did get a shell though, because I would love like two things. I actually thought about this because I'm always trying to get a better computer, and I like the smaller form factor PCs. I like the way they look. I like the design of them. I think they look really good. They definitely take up a lot less space than the old bulky. Because remember, back when computers first came out, they took up an entire room. My entire bedroom would have housed one computer. Yeah, those things were massive. They were bulky as fuck. And computers have slimmed down dramatically since then. And I do like the smaller mini form factor computers. In fact, the one that we have as our desktop here, our family computer, actually was a gift to me from my local fire company because I pulled an all nighter, literally. I literally pulled an all nighter to get all their reports done so that they could get their grant money that they needed for their truck because they were so far behind on reports because the assistant chief at the time had passed away and left everything as a giant shithole. And I pulled an all nighter to get it done so they wouldn't have to ask for an extension and try to create any problems. And I got them all done by 5 a.m. Thursday morning. That's right. By 5 a.m. Thursday morning. I started that at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night. By 5 a.m. Thursday morning, I was done. Every single report was finished. And it was every report pretty much from the previous, like, pretty much from the year up to that point. Oh, no, yeah, from the previous year up to that point, 'cause it was in January. Right up to that point. Yeah. It was when that crap was going on down in Washington. That's the night I was doing it. But as a thank you, and this was about a good year later when the fire company had the extra money to spend and they had to upgrade their one computer. I ended up getting they said, "Here, get two of them," because I thought, okay, so we got to upgrade the one out here too, 'cause they had one in the engine room. And when it came, I had it all, everything was set up. I'm like, okay, they're all both set up. What do you want the second one? It's like, oh no, the second one's yours. That's our thank you for pulling the all nighter for us and getting us our grant money and for everything else that I had done. That was my thank you present, and I appreciated it. I still have it. Granted, I had to put Windows 10 on it. It did come with 11, but I didn't have to set it up right away for us. And because I left it sitting in a drawer because our other computer was still fine. It was still functioning. It was just finally with this newer one, I realized, hey, we really need to take this to get this better. So, so I ended up having to put Windows 10 on it, and I had to fix it up so that it would take it, and it did. I got it fixed. So there was that. But yeah, I had to put Windows 10 on it. Now I have to upgrade it to 11. So I know it can handle 11, which is a good thing. I know it can take 11, but I had to take it up to 11. So I have to take it up to 11. So that's working on. But it made me think about it because it would have been back, I want to say December of last year. I came across an old PlayStation 1 console, just the case itself, no internals at all, no circuit boards, no power supply, nothing, no laser, no spindle, nothing, just the case itself. And one of the things I'd love to do is to get a relatively good um, mini PC, either a well, I actually subscribe to ETA Prime, and I like watching a lot of his videos with the other, like the smaller form factor PCs. And one of the things that I would love to do is get one of those form factor PCs, one of those smaller ones, preferably cheap, one that somebody got used or that they don't want anymore. They're willing to take a price loss on it, or hey, we have to move. I can't take it with me, even though it's really tiny. I don't know how you would be able to do that, but or I don't need it anymore. I got something better, or it's not working the way I want it to anymore, or I don't care what the problem is. I mean, if it's a hard drive issue, screw it. I'll put a different hard drive on. I don't care. As long as it's not like a hardware issue, if it's a hard drive, you just don't need the computer itself anymore, and there's no hard drive included, I'll gladly take it off your hands. I would love that because what I'd love to do is um, get my own hard drive for it, flash either Batocera or another emulator OS, and just have a standalone. Put it into basically just like take the board out, take the hard drive, put the hard drive in, put the board in, and have a standalone emulation machine inside of a PlayStation 1 shell. Retro design, new school technology. I think that would be really cool. And the more I thought about it, um, I could take it up one step higher. I could actually look into considering to design a PCB for it. And yes, you're getting this is more of a tech talk, I guess, vlog, but it just shows how my brain works. I am more than just, hey, I like boobs. I think this is cute. I actually do have a brain. I have a 135 IQ. I am not an idiot in the least. I'm not an idiot. I might not make the world's greatest decisions in life, but I'm not an idiot in any way, shape, or form. But um, what my goal would be, I could just look into getting a PCB. There's companies like PCBWay and a few others that I know of. I know PCBWay because I watched the 8-Bit Guy, and I could get a uh, PCB made that would be specific to this. Just get an actual motherboard, like a circuit board that could act as the motherboard, and use that and make sure that I have it so that it fits inside this console, inside the shell. And I could fix it up if I do it right and if I figure it out correctly in the designing process to attach a graphics card, not a massive behemoth. I'm not talking like a Ryzen 4080 here. Come on, nobody can afford those fuckers anymore. Even my broke ass can't afford those. That's when you call window shopping. It's always free. but but like a decent graphics card that I could use to play PlayStation 2, PlayStation, maybe even PlayStation 3. Definitely GameCube and 64. I know that basic graphic cards can handle pretty much anything from the 16-bit era and the 32-bit era. It can handle. I'm looking at like Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, um, Super Nintendo, the SNES, NES, stuff like that. It can handle that. No problem. Graphics card on even your basic off the shelf laptop can handle that. Help my gaming laptop that I have right up there where my thumb is. That is still off the shelf parts. I got that for nothing, and it is 100% basic. There's nothing extra in it. There's no upgraded RAM. It's still a hard disk drive. It's still running a whatever the processor is on it. That's it. It's just a basic run of the mill computer. It's right off the shelf parts. It's still bare bones, the basic. It's stock. It's still running stock that it got when it was sold originally. I haven't updated anything to it. I haven't upgraded anything on it. The only laptop that I've ever actually done any upgrade to is my main laptop that I do my video processing and my weekly podcast on. Not to mention any other little fun details, because I've had that laptop for I've had this laptop for yeah, since 2015. So almost eight. It'll be 8 years in December. Holy shit, 8 years! Wow, it's lasted longer than my old one. My old laptop lasted 7 years and then it died. This one's lasted almost 8 years. So we're over the 7 year mark. I've had that for at least 7 years and it's still functioning. There's no damage to it, save for the little pry marks from me having to replace the battery and well, mostly the battery. I had to replace the battery and I had to clean the exhaust port ones, but there's about that. But I'd love to change out. All I got to do is like change the processor on this, and I can actually put Windows 11 on it. So I'd love to just create a standalone game console. It's just an emulation machine, but have it be an actually decent emulation machine. But at the same time, give it an aesthetically pleasing shell. Because, like I said, I liked the way that the PlayStation, I'm pretty sure it's the PS1 or the PlayStation 1, one of those two. I think it was the PS1 because there was two different versions, and the one was more curved, and this one is the brick, and the brick's the one that I liked. But I liked that, and I also like the Nintendo GameCube because the GameCube was my first ever console. My handhelds was the Game Boy Advance and the SP, but the GameCube was my first ever actual foray into consoles where I had to hook it up to the TV. I had to use an RF modulator. I had to, figure out yellow, white, red for the color combinations, for the video signal and the audio signals. And I got a kick out of doing that. So something that I would also love to do is to just get an empty GameCube shell and not really either turn it into a emulation machine, which I would do in a heartbeat. In fact, there's kits you can buy to pretty much do that, but it only work for GameCube games because obviously you're still using the GameCube system itself. But I'd love to take a GameCube shell, same process, put mini PC into it, and either use it as a emulation machine, which I probably wouldn't do if I have my PlayStation 1 or my PS1 because I like that look better. I feel like that's more for gamer than it is for anything else. But I would definitely turn the GameCube shell into a standalone computer because, I mean, come on, it's the GameCube shell turned into a computer. Power button still turns it on. Uh, Reset button basically is just useless. I guess I could have it be like a sleep. I guess I could give like a sleep function or just make it useless. Like here, push the reset button and it does absolutely positively nothing. The disk open button you could use to open up for like the hard drive or for media like SD cards and things like that. I know that they have um there were converters you can get for like SD card for micro SDs into the GameCube memory card slot. But it'd be nice to have like you would have the four ports where the controller would go, could be USB ports, all obviously USB 3 or whatever one would be by the time I would ever create this. But that's something that always came to my mind. But as far as game console wise, I would definitely love to have my all-in-one emulator machine, something that I could say was mine. And I got the shell, the PlayStation 1 shell because it was cheap. It was only like $20. I wasn't gonna pass that up. I was not gonna find one any cheaper. It's got no screws on it, so I actually had to look into like what screws I would need to keep it shut. But I like the look of it. I like the feel of it. I like the. In fact, oh wait, I actually have it in here. Hold on, I do have it in. Yeah, I did. I forgot. I moved it in here the other day. Uh huh. I do have it. By the way, I loved how the person actually stored this and packaged it for shipping because they did a really good job. But ta-da! That's what I mean. See, old school design, but it would look so cool as a game console. I mean, yeah, okay, it's a little scratched up, it's a little scuffed up, so obviously I have to do some repairs, but surface wise, I don't mind it looking like it's a little scratched up. It's like, hey, look, I bought a used PlayStation 2. There's some parts, or sorry, PS1, PlayStation. There are some parts that obviously are oxidized, things like that, but I would definitely, be all for this. I mean, like I said, you can see that the top's a slightly different color. There is some scuff marks on it. I would have to clean it up, but I just always liked this, the design of it, and how it looked, because this felt really good. Um, this would definitely be something that you would imagine as a console. This is a game console before game console. And the best part is that I would have all the spots back here for outputs. So you would have I could do this for HDMI, power, obviously. I can make this an extra port. I don't know for what though. And if I could figure out or find a nice small ass graphics card, because, you know, emulator, emulator PC, the parallel IO spot, which would work really good for a graphics card, even like a small one. It'd be really cool there without damaging the case. But still, yeah. But I mean, come on. You could totally see this as an all-in-one emulator, right? Yeah, I sure as hell could. Oh no, this one did have screws. That's right. It says three. That's right. There's three screws. One, two, and three. It's missing the other three screws. That's right. Because I mean, I'd have to redo the feed on the bottom. Obviously, the um logo here with their sticker is there's no warranty in this at all. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I'd have to get like three more screws to make sure it's nice and 100% secure because you can kind of tell it'll try to come apart. But I kind of like the power button to turn on and off, which I'd find a way to hardwire. Believe me, I would find a way to get the power button. It's over here in this corner. I would still find a way. Yeah, because I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's like right in here. When you push down, there's a little lever, I guess. I would love, I'd find a way to hook that up. So I could just go, okay, time to turn it on. Bing! But yeah, this is my dream in a way, is I want to turn this empty shell, this 100% empty shell, into a fully functional, and I mean fully functional emulator game system. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think I could do it. I think I could do it. Because there are screw holes in here for where the motherboard used to be, so it could fit a PC or a motherboard. I would just have to be very optimistic as to what I'm looking for. Obviously, lube up any parts. I'd have to take the whole thing apart anyway to clean it up really good. Um, I guess try to retro bright if I would really want to go anal about it. But like I said, I like the patina look it has. It looks really good. Maybe I would retro bright it though, just to give it a little extra oomph in the uniqueness display. But mostly probably just this part. This does kind of bother me. But all in all, it's not bad. I do like the overall look of it. And it's definitely, like I said, it's my goal is to turn this empty shell, 'cause that's my dream anyway, into a fully functioning, you know, emulator. And an emulator. And what I'd like to do, what I'd like to do is keep this up here, but use this for like have an SD card slot or have USB ports that pop up here. Kind of like the SD card idea a little better because I mean, obviously I want to have I want it to be able to handle multiple ports. Duh. So obviously, like port one would be your main controller. So I'd have like two USBs here, two USBs here, and then um, SD cards on the bottom to help take the save data and stuff like that. But then I still want to have something inside here because I kind of feel like it's empty and naked. It's not right. Stop looking at my empty console. So that's kind of my goals. Empty shell turned into an emulator. But that would be my ultimate goal down the road. Yeah. But that would definitely be my dream console. Would be a really cool emulator. But yeah. I even like how this thing has the light. It'd be really cool if I could get that hooked up. But like I said, this is all speculative because I'd have to take it apart. I'd have to take the screws off. I'd have to see what I could work with, what I'd have to work with, and things like that. But all in all, it's not a bad idea. And that would be my dream console. And if I did it right, and believe me, I would try my damnedest to, I would probably end up using it for all of my emulations. That's why I'm thinking like I would either put Batocera or a standalone full on emulator for it, or just run Windows and just go, look, I have Windows on here. Problem solved. It's Windows. That's what it does. And then still use it to record gameplay footage. Pretty much fix it up like I would. Then I could use this spot here for maybe I could turn this into an actual computer too. And use this port here, use this port for Ethernet. And then still have this for graphics, obviously power, and HDMI. So be HDMI out and graphics. And worst case scenario, I could always use this for VGA, but HDMI would definitely work out a lot better because if the HDMI port would go, it'd be easier to fix. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of my dream console. You know, simple design because, like I said, this had such a unique design. Now, granted, Sony's designs nowadays are okay, but that's classic. Why do you think they made that in the PlayStation Classic then? It's a classic. You don't fuck with classics. You don't fuck with a classic. It's a classic for a reason. But anyway, that's pretty much that's what I would do. But I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for dealing with my tech talk. Proves I'm not just a brainless idiot, because I do have a brain, I do have a mind. But thank you all for hanging out with me. And until next time, bye everyone.